Okay, so today what we will do is we will go through again some complex select statements and how what the usage of it, uh, basically how you can get data on what you want, right? The ultimate goal of SQL is for it to perform what you ask it to do, and before that you need to know what you want from the data. That's the primary thing. Okay, so having said this, um, now let's start with so how many of you are okay? Let me do this poll itself. It's better. Mm, Just give me 1 second. Uh, Okay, so just respond to that poll so that I will know what is the status of the class. Okay, so okay, okay. All of you please respond to it so that I know how it is right now mapped. Accordingly, I can focus on the system. So 13 people have answered out of 20 people. 7 of them, can you let me know? You have XE or Apex? 5 more to go. Or rather 4 more to go. Someone dropped. Okay. Anyways, I see there are 9 people having Apex, 4 people having XE, and 2 people having neither. Who are those 2 people? Like, were you not able to install or were you not able to create an Apex?
It's Mohan only.
Oh, you had laptop issues. Okay, fine. But
Yeah.
it's not related to any technical issue, right? Because apex.com is still easier to create at least. XE, even if you fail in XE, right?
My lap isn't working, so I gave it for repair.
Okay.
So I didn't.
Wait. Okay, you can watch the recorded sessions and practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So another person who doesn't have either of these.
Sir, me Vinayaka, sir. I think this is with related to permission issues with my laptop. Since I'm using my
Uh-huh.
office laptop, I don't think I'm able to install that.
No, even if you don't install it, try. Can you access apex.oracle.com?
Website I can, but last week I mentioned,
Mhm.
not able to install it properly at all on my system. Either both of it.
No. You don't need to install apex.oracle.com. So you just need to access, everything is online. Okay. So you go through the last 2 sessions. Okay. And you can create a workspace for yourself. You can run your SQL queries on a website only. Okay. So you don't need to install anything on your laptop. I understand there's organizational restrictions to install software. That's okay. You can practice your SQL on apex.oracle.com. If you have any issues in creating workspace or any queries there after watching the recorded sessions, let me know. Okay, so that you can do without having XE in your system. Okay, now now okay, Oracle SQL downturn. So Bajrangi, I think you can switch to Apex if that is comfortable for you. Okay, then that would be great. Okay, so for the purpose of larger audience being on Apex, I will use that itself. But folks who are using XE or SQL developer, the drill would be same for you also. There is no change for you. Okay, the say statements will run the same, and the Commands would not change rather. Okay. Okay, let me share my screen while we are here. Okay, so as I told you, we'll start with some select statements today and see how it works, right? And a little bit of complexity, added complexity to it. Now, let's say we'll start with what
Your
we had.
recording.
Yeah, it's already started recording.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So, what we had loaded last time. So select consume, select star. If you say star from consumer complaints, it'll give you all the uh, columns of the table, as I mentioned last time. Okay, to get the number of rows in this particular table, you use count. Okay, so that's the wildcard we are using. So we have 69,499 rows. Okay, now coming back to what are the columns we have in this. Okay, now firstly, if you want to select specific columns from a particular table, you will obviously write them manually and then select them, right? Now, let's say I want to select only company and hit a comma. Then you want, let's say, I want uh, submitted via, okay, and the issue type, let's say, okay. So if you run this, it will give you only those 3 columns, but this is not so easy to analyze. So you need to take this out, like let's say you have to download this data and do something with it, right? If you go down, you can see the download button here. You can use this to download this information and do something, some pivot table on your Excel itself. But the point is, you need a little more structured information to analyze this whole view that you're seeing right now. Now, if you see, there are multiple lines for each company. The reason why it is duplicating is each row is a unique, but not each column is unique. Okay, so just be mindful of that. So Wells Fargo has two different submitted via categories, so it's differentiating. Or in this case, it's 2 different companies, so this issue column is categorized, splitting, right? Now, let's say we want to see the number of issues by company. Okay, uh, say let's select company, and then what you want. So you want count of the client ID. This is assuming your client ID is distinct, right? So if I do this, it'll not run. The reason is I am trying to get information or a number column at a specific level or specific text column. So I need to tell the SQL query that it should group it by what? Okay. Oh, sorry, my text is wrong. Okay. So if you do this, what it will plan on is what complaint ID. Okay, just let's see what's the column name. Select star from column. So what was the ID? Complaint ID. Sorry. So if you are able to practice, do it. Otherwise, not necessary that you have to write the same exact statement I am doing, but you can create your own use cases, right, to come up with. So now I am getting, okay, I have, this is the first company, no, not this, these are the companies with the list. So it just shows the first 10 rows, but there are more rows to this. Okay, so if you want to see complete rows, you can just export this, or you can say, like, the definition of number of rows of output of your query can be defined here. It says 10 rows, you can say 5,000 rows also. For 5,000 rows you're getting. So in this case, there are lots and lots of rows. If you go to the bottom, it says 1,878 rows have come in this query. And all of these are companies with number of complaints in, but you're not sure whether it is unique. Okay, they may be, let's say we will sort it by company. Okay, let's see if it's all unique. Sort by company, or order by, sorry, order by company. By default, when you say order, it will say, it will do, I believe, ascending. Okay, so it's looks unique, but if at all you have any sort of doubt that it may contain duplicates anywhere, what you can do is can just say select distinct company. Distinct makes your company column very unique. Okay, no need to write distinct at the order by level. Okay, that's okay, you don't need to do that. Only if you in the select column statement, if you do that, should be fine. Okay, now having said that, now this looks uh, a huge list. Okay, now what else we have in this data? So in this data we have companies, we have state. Okay, we have state and we have submitted via and stuff like that, right? Now let's say we want to see only companies which are residing in a specific state or in specific states. Okay, so in that case you need to put a where condition to this statement. So just keep in mind how we build a statement based on what we need. Okay, so when you're experienced enough, you'll write everything together, but um since I'm teaching you, I'm just going slowly one by one. Okay, so select distinct this from this before you group, and after your table name, your where condition should land. Okay, where, what is my column name? State name is equal to VA. Now it should always be in single quotes. Your variable or your filter values that you supply should always be in single quotes. That's a rule in SQL, anywhere in any type of SQL. So I mean, I say any type of SQL, there are Microsoft has its own SQL syntaxes. Oracle has its own. MySQL has, open source has its own. When I say they have their own syntaxes, they don't vary much. 99% of your SQL syntaxes remain same. Like select will be same, where will be same, group by, order by, most of it will be same. Only the place where they differ slightly is they might have added certain additional advanced functions in their own version of SQL. Okay, so that's why whenever you're writing your SQLs, you should have knowledge of what is the environment where I am writing my SQL query in. So this is a Oracle environment. Okay, so here Oracle SQL holds good. If you're searching for in internet for some query about SQL, see which environment does that apply to. So if you are wanting to search and help for, let's say, um, using where or not where, let's say analytical functions in Oracle SQL, you need to draft your query like this. Okay, Oracle. The reason why I'm saying this is obviously you need to do certain research yourself after when you're in job, right? So at that time you need to know what you're searching. If you don't know what you're searching, you'll not get the right answer there. That's the reason this is important. So now what we have, we said VA as a state name, and which are the companies in VA, and what is their total complaints. And this header name looks odd. So what we will do is we just say um, just see number of let's say like this, number of complaints. So if I do this, would it work? Let's say, okay, let me remove the second portion of it. Would it work? It works because there's an underscore here. But if I remove underscore, what will happen? It will
Come
say
on.
query error, because this no and com don't have space in between them. They have space in between. So you need to enclose them in single quotes or double quotes. Let's see, wait, if it doesn't run. It doesn't. Now, since you have it in double quotes, it's running. Or else you can also put as becomes important when you're having subqueries. Okay, so make sure you have the good practice is to type as and then a double quote if you have a space in your column identifier. These are called column identifiers, by the way. Okay, you can also give names to your existing column also, like let's say a company, I want to say org. Okay, or let's say if you don't have a space, we can directly use this one. So org. Okay, so it's not giving, is it? So let's say as then. Oh, sorry. So I think the below one is hitting. So let me comment this out so that it doesn't come in our way. No, no. Okay, so I did a org and it became a org and number of complaints. Okay, now we have done single state as a filter. Let's say you want to do something like multiple states. In that case, or let's say we want to see everything except VA. So let's include the state column here also, right? State name. Always remember, whichever you want to do a distinct or at a base level what you want, that column should come as first. So in this case, I want at a company level, so I'm giving this. If I want at a state level, I would go with this. But if you give a state and a company, then it will repeat. The state will still repeat because there are multiple company names. I'll show you how it works. Now let's come back to our example where we what we have currently given as. See, as soon as I entered state name, it's saying it is not grouped here. In your group by function, for a single measure, you need to group with all the dimension columns that you have. So I'll just say comma state name. Remember, you don't need to use your column identifiers in your groupings. You need to use your original column names. Okay. So it gave me what is the state name. So everything is VA. Okay, so to verify whether it only has VA, whether my where condition is working properly, okay, what you do is, let's assume this is a table. This entire select statement that what we have done is a table. Now what I will do is select distinct state name from this whole table here, which is created here. This entire query becomes a table for me. Now what I'm doing, from this whole thing, select distinct statement. This will give me what are the different state names in this table. Okay, if you see, it gives only VA. That means my condition which I've written here as VA is working properly. Okay, so I mean a way of cross-checking what you have entered is correct or wrong. Okay, now we need multiple states. Let's say we do in. So in means you can do before in. Let's say we don't want VA but all other states. In that case, what you do is either you can do exclamatory is equal to, which means not equal to VA, or you can also do greater than or lesser than sign. Both of them works. Now let's go back to the earlier parent query. Let me expand this so that you can see properly. I hope all of you are with me. Okay, just give a thumbs up. You have something called reactions there, I think, in your Zooms. If you click on that reaction, you'll have a thumbs up or something. Even if you give that, it's absolutely fine, because I want to make sure that you guys are following me. And I should not be going too fast. If I am, please raise your hand or unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, otherwise I'll keep going at my own pace, thinking it is fine for you. And don't imagine that recording will help you a lot, because if you ask a specific question, others might benefit from it. That's the whole point here. Okay. Even we do it in our organizational trainings where we just don't concentrate on certain trainings, but let's go through the recording is what we think most of the times. But that doesn't work, because some question when I am watching that recording might come up and the trainer is no more available for me to ask the question, right? So once concentrate on it and try to ask your questions. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I didn't see any thumbs up. So most of you are not following. Is that so? Please, I need answers. Otherwise, either they're here or in the chat somewhere, because otherwise it will look like I'm reaching to some wall. Okay. Great. I got 5 people's response. More people, please. We can stop the class for 2 minutes for making sure that we have enough responses. Otherwise, we'll be running in blind. Okay, great. So I hope most of you are on track with me. That's great. Now, where were we? Okay, now let's say we are saying not equal to VA. Now, if I select this query here, it will give me records which doesn't equal to VA, state name as VA. Okay. So now if I say, this is one way of putting your operator. Another way is not exclamatory equal to. Okay, now let's say I'll select this query again. Yeah, it also works, right? So that's how your equal to and not equal to things work. Okay, so next next would be in. So when you have to pass multiple statements in, you can use the in function. Right, 1 second. Okay, I will say state name in, and you have to open a bracket in single quotes separated by commas. You can enter which are the states that you want to select. Okay, I want to say CA. Let's say I want to do CO. And if you don't put double quotes, it will not work. Or single quotes will not work. So it's like this. It says there is a issue there. There's something missing here. Okay. And there's a double quote here. So you will become a perfectionist at the end of practicing your SQL queries. Okay. So now it's giving me only these three states in the data set. Okay. Now to just confirm whether it's only giving me three states, let's do this super select, and it's giving only three states. Okay. Now if I say not in, that means I don't want these three states. Except these three states, give me data for all other states. That's what we are trying to do here. Okay. Now let's say we do this. And let's see if we have VA anywhere. VA, CA, CO. If it's not there, then our query is fine. So we are getting data for all others except here. So or else you can also do this. Select this, okay, from this table. So remember this bracket here, what we have written is a table. Now you can write where statement here, where state name equals VA. It should not be there because we have excluded in this child statement. If you do this, what it will say, there's no data form because VA is not there in the data itself, right? So that's one way of confirming it. Now we did in, not in, and then let's say let's go back to for easier statement organization. What you generally do is, let's for example take this statement outside of this bracket. Okay, now let's say you keep it in bracket itself. What you do is you have to hit enter and separate your sections of your select statement. Now what this will do is, this is my statement where I'm selecting my columns, the first line. Second line gives me what are the conditions I'm applying for this. And third line gives me what I'm grouping with. Fourth line gives me what I'm ordering with. So this way of organization helps you when you're writing complex statements, so that you know what I am doing and where I'm writing. So in SQL, it doesn't make any difference even if it's in one line or three or four lines. Okay, it still runs the same way. Okay, so that's hello. Oh, okay. Just give me 1 second. Give me one. Are you guys able to hear me? I hope
Yes,
it's
sir.
Yes.
okay. Okay, so coming back to where we were, so you can use multiple lines to run your or organize your statement, and this is how you do it. Okay, now let's say we want to do multiple conditions. Okay, now I have given state name as not in this, so let's make it a little simpler. Let's say we say first we'll do a table query so that we know what we have, and then we'll write a second condition. So this is our table. So let's say Now, before even this, let's do the pattern match also. Now, let's say we want to do state names which have a C in them, right? For that pattern matching, we use like condition, okay? Like C. So I'm saying the beginning of my state name should have C and then anything else after that. So the percentage will give a wildcard to it. Now, if I do it this way and run this small query, what it does is any state which has a C in it comes up. Okay. Now, same thing goes with when you say not like. That means any state which doesn't begin with C comes up, right? See here. Or else you can say it doesn't contain A for that matter. Let's say anywhere in between it should not contain A. Only states of that sort. It will give you all the states which doesn't have A. Now you can also do any organization which contains, let's say, let's take the example. Systems. Any organization which contains systems in it. Okay. For that we have to use which column is this? Company column. So I'll take company column. I'll put it in where condition, and I'll say like, and I'll say I want any organization. This is case sensitive. Okay. If I do systems, it will search for capital systems only. Okay. In between. See. So any company which has capital systems in it, it's giving me this. If I do small system, it will give me, or let's say system. Okay. That would give anything which has small systems. Now, what if I want both of them? Can say or second condition where company is like this, okay, or like this. Okay, so this will give me either capital or small. Okay, now how do we know whether this statement is correct or wrong, right? Because we have multiple states, multiple complaint numbers, it's giving me all of this stuff, right? Now what if I remove my state column? Okay, so if I remove my state column, I'll get unique company names, right? So this is how you modify your statement, then run the statement. Now, if you see anything that contains systems or that one single capital system will come up. Now, what if, see here it is, I don't want to use a or condition. How do I get in a single where condition itself, both of them? For that, what you have to do is just say you modify your parent column only. Let's say you use upper function. This is a function, okay? Similar to your Excel, you can use your upper function here, which will uppercase the company column here on the fly, okay? And then here you can use capital systems because what we are doing is we are saying the column itself has all uppercases now, okay? Now, if you remove this or condition, this also works now. Now, if you run this query, wait, this gives you all the companies which have can you see small also is coming because only in the where condition I am uppercasing the company name. Otherwise, it's coming. So even you get small or big, whatever it is, right? If you want to see how it works, if you do here also, upper, okay, how it looks for the where condition. This is how it looks for the where condition. Oh, where is it? Did I do anything wrong? Select. Oh shit. Okay, so upper should be before your distinct. So the order of your function should be first, and then your what is this? What happened? Oh, here we don't need to put a bracket. We don't need to. So the number of brackets as you open and close should be same. So otherwise you will be searching where did I do the wrong thing? Okay. So in this case, it is not accepting it. Now let's see why it is not. A distinct company, upper distinct company. So give me 1 second. Yeah. So the syntax should be okay. So distinct actually ignores the case statements. That's the reason you can't do that. Okay. So that's a learning. Okay. So what you have to do is then remove the distinct and see if it works. So upper of company name and run this query. Let's see how it works. And all of your company names are in uppercase. Okay. So that's about your case statements. Now, apart from upper, you have, I mean, there are tons of functions as such in SQL. To know more about them, I will share a document which will help you, but we'll still go through some important functions over the course of our session today and tomorrow. Okay. So until now, we have covered select statements, we have covered some conditions, some types of conditions, some group wise, some order wise, and everything. So the next level of these will be how can it be more complex also, right? Like let's say distinct company, I want to order it in a descending order. So you need to write DESC. By default, any order will be ASC, that is ascending order. If you type in DESC, it will become descending order. Okay. Now this will give you descending order. Okay. Now, if you want to do a descending of my count of complaints, which particular company has more complaints? Take the count complaint ID and type in here and use the including the count function, take it into the order by section. Now, Trans World Systems has highest number of complaints here, followed by IC system, National Credit Systems, all this stuff. Okay. Now, um, if you want to see which company has the maximum number of complaints, okay, only one line I want here, not a list of companies which have all these things. And my I don't know, I haven't sorted or seen data like this. Okay, so let's say we will do okay, 1 second. So now if we have to go to the super query, let's say here select company. Okay, from this where my what is the name we have given, no com, right? Let's say we use as here because we are doing a super query. Okay, number of complaints, okay, or number of where my no underscore m is equal to max of no underscore com. What I'm trying to say here is the number of complaints when it is max, filter for that particular record and give me the company name only in that. Okay, so company distinct group. Okay, group by when we are using any aggregate functions, you need to group it by that. Okay. So group by this one. I hope this works. Group by function is not allowed here. Where is equal to or group by. Sorry. Still not working. 1 second. Yeah. When was equal to. Oh, okay. Sorry. Select max from. You can name this whole query as something like, let's say, this table as A, something like that. Okay, you can name this whole subquery as a dynamic table, which is A for now. Okay. Why we do this? When you are joining, you need to know what are the different tables that you're joining. So that in those cases it will help. I mean, we'll go through that in a while, but I'm just saying from, so okay, let me experiment this. Wait 1 second. I think this needs the whole thing here. Just ignore this for a moment, otherwise you will get confused. Okay, perfect. So it's org. Okay, so what was the issue that we were facing there is, okay, let me expand this so that I can explain you what's happening here. Okay, now concentrate slowly. So select distinct org. Because we named our company as org here, we need to use that name itself in the outside select of this select. Okay, now this whole thing is a table for us till here. Okay, now what I'm doing a where condition here. Okay, what I'm saying is the number of complaints column, I want the maximum number in that column to be filtered out. Now how do I filter that? What I'm saying is I'm using this entire table as a where condition here. I'm saying select maximum number in this number of complaints column. Again, same blah blah blah, whatever it is. So this will return some number here. If you query this, it will give some number, which is the maximum number on this table. That is 143. Now I'm filtering only for this 143 will become a where condition. So essentially it is writing like this in other words. But I'm trying, this is dynamic enough because when your data changes in future, it will automatically pick which is the other maximum number later. Okay, so this is how you filter for the maximum number of records and obtains a specific record out of it. Okay, that's one way. So that's one way. And then super query, so this is called a subquery. Okay, this small table here, and this is called a super query, which is above this. You can, I mean, when you start writing queries, you'll start writing more super queries on top of this, but you need to have it. It's like if you have watched the Inception movie, selections inside selections. So you need to be very careful on where you are and what you're doing. Otherwise, you'll go lost in this. Okay. So until here, I hope everyone are clear and are with me. Okay. Now, apart from count, we also there are many other functions. Let's say they are like sum, all your basic Excel functions, sum, average, max, min, then what else? What else? What else? We have 1 second. I have my notes here. 1 second, sir. 1 second. Okay, so it's like all your statistical functions are also there. You have your as I told you, the basic functions of Excel as well. And then you have ranking functions, you have standard deviation functions. So many of these are like used in a very specific scientific way. Okay. There are a couple of more things that are also helpful, but I will cover them in some time. So until here, if you're good, please practice them, and let's let before we move on. Okay. So next, what else? What else? So next would be joins if we have to jump into, but joins is a bigger subject. Before that, we need to know whether you're able to do basic select functions like this, and you can do multiple groups, multiple orders, however you want to. You can order one column in a certain way, another column, comma, you can do it, and then you can start sorting that in a certain way like ASC. Okay, so each of these commands in your select statement can be individually used however you want them to be used. Okay, now the as thing which I was saying earlier, if I use a space in between, Okay, and if I don't use as, okay, now if I do a what to say, querying of this, it still work, but it generally doesn't work. Okay, so in some environments like Microsoft SQL or something, doing it this way may not work. So if you will be running through the statement day and night, and you will still not find what is the issue that it is giving you an error. Okay, it will not give you in a very user friendly way, like what is the error. It will just say something is missing somewhere. So if that kind of a blind statement comes in, what you have to do is, first basic checks is check with whether your naming conventions are correct for this. Okay, so debugging is a bigger topic, and at least constitutes 50% of your time when you're doing a data analysis in SQL. Okay, if you're a good writer, then it might be lesser, but on an average 50 to 60, 40 to 50% of times you'll keep checking where the query has gone wrong. Okay, in the initial part of your career at least. Hmm? So that's about this. And uh, and then we also okay, so here it is. Okay, so another important thing which I wanted to tell you guys was, let's say let's go to the full query where the select statement. Now here we have all the columns of our table. Now I want to do some grouping, right? Now let's say I want to all the companies which have a systems in their names as a system label. Okay, and then all the companies which have a bank in their name as a bank or something like that. Okay, so uh, let's say we do a case statement. So how do we group in SQL is by using case statements. Okay, it's not complex as you think, it's simple. Okay, so the syntax goes something like this before I start even writing it. So it's always case something, some condition, case when, sorry, case when some condition. Then if that condition is satisfied, then what is the answer? Else else what the query has to do, and end. This is a basic single case statement. If you want to do multiple conditions, then you say when another condition, then this, else this, then end. So this is the basic syntax of a case statement. Now how do we use in this current context? I mean, one of the usages for, I'm just giving an example, is, let's start a new query so that it's easier. Select, for easier purposes, let's select company name as is. This is my as is company name. Then I will do case when company, my company is like, okay, like or upper of my company. Let's say as we used the earlier time, right? Let's use a uppercase of my company column, like systems. If it contains systems starting and ending, everything anywhere in between, like this, then give it a label, single quotes, systems, systems companies. So this will be your grouping name. Okay, this will come as a column. Else, next one. So just copy the same when condition again and enter here. Now I'll say, let's say if my company contains anywhere in between bank, then say banks. That's all. I will not say company. If it doesn't matter, meet these two both conditions, then let's say others. End. Okay. Now this whole case statement is a column now. If I don't give a name to it, okay, what will happen? Let's see. So if I run like this, it will give the whole case statement as my column name. If you see here, wherever it contains bank, it's grouping them as banks, or if it has some systems in it, it will group them as systems. Where is systems here? Somewhere I saw one of them here. It is, see here. So that's how you group it. Now what you have to do is just give it a name. So uh, grouping. Let's say grouping. If it's a single word, you can still run like this itself. Grouping. Company name, grouping. Okay. Now I want to see how many companies are there in each of these groups. How do I do it? What you have to do is, let's remove the company, because this is, I don't need a granular level of data, like how many, what are the company names. I don't want that. I'll just say select this, and if I run this, what will happen? It will give me the groupings, but it is this not distinct, right? So I will add a distinct towards the beginning of it. Now this will give me distinct groupings of this. These are three distinct groupings. How many companies are there in each of these? I'll say count of company. Or if you want, if you feel the rows are repeating, just say distinct company. And then I have to group it by that. Okay, group by. This whole case statement needs to go into the grouping. Okay, remember that. That's your grouping. Okay, now if you run this, it will give me in systems we have 39 companies, in others we have 1784 companies, in banks we have 55 companies. Okay, now this count distinct also I can give some names, number of companies. So let's say I'll put it in double quotes, number of companies, and run this. Oh, I think hash won't work or something, is it? Oh, wait, I think my internet has some issues. Give me 1 second. I'll add on. Okay, so number of companies, same result. Okay, but this looks very odd. It is not in order. So I'll say order by my grouping again, the whole case statement. Okay, and you run this. So why your SQL statement looks like a complex code is because of these kind of thing. That's all, nothing else. Okay, now if you see here, because of the alphabetical grouping, my others is coming in between. I don't want this others to be in between. It has to go to the bottom. So in that case, you need to make sure your grouping is correct, right? Now let's say I want banks to come as first, and then I want all the systems companies to come second. Then let the others be third. Now, when you make a change here, you need to make the change in all the subsequent places where you've used this case statement. Okay. So otherwise, it will not work. So use your control H feature in your editors anywhere to do that. So in this case, we have something here. Can you see this? Not here, or this one, I believe. Or you can take it to a notepad and do it if you want to. Anyways, so where is this? Okay, banks is 1 dot, and then others is 3 dot. When you have written a very big query, this becomes cumbersome. So that's why I told take it to a notepad and replace them and paste it back, or do something like that. Otherwise, you have to, it will go take your entire day to um, what to say, make these small changes. So you need to have clear idea on what you're doing before you start writing your queries. So now I have done this. Now if I do this, it will order in that way. Even if there is a single number change somewhere, the query will not run because it says the case statement that you have used in one of these places is wrong. Okay. So that's about how you group it. Okay. Now I have told like you can also use all the other conditional parameters that we discussed, like is equal to, not in all this stuff. We can also do the there are a couple of more where parameters which you can use on dates here, right? So if we go back to our earlier table, where is that table? Oh, here it is. So I have date received here, right? So this has dates, and we have dates here also. So this contains pretty much same date, I believe. So it doesn't make sense. So date created is like little same dates. Date sent to company has slight variations. Let's see what are the different dates that we have. Select distinct. Where is it? dates into company to company. So we have quite a few dates, which is varying into many years or same year, different months, whatever. So let's say select star from this where, oh shit, I should have taken that. Okay. Select star from this table where my date is between, let's say 01/01 2013 and 12/31/2013. Okay, so I'm giving a only 2013's date so that it filters only for that. So if you see this, if my date should all fall in 2013. So to just see if it's working, select distinct date of company from this table. Okay, so there's another way, easier way to do this. I mean, a comprehensive way, which is, one second. Okay, so so if you do a year of this particular column, okay, should give you, no, not here. This these people keep changing it. Give me 1 second. Year. One moment, guys. Mm. Okay, so there's something using toDate function, we can transform a date into whatever we want to. Now, let's say um, if we take this is the function, okay, toDate. Like toDate, we have few more functions like toNumber or to other stuff, which I will share, and we can use that as well, right? So don't worry that what are the other stuff that we can use. You might not be aware of it right now, but I will still make sure that I'll do a recap of what and all are there and what and all you can learn so that you are not missing on anything. If I have not covered something, I will still make sure that it is documented, which I'm only covering the significant ones for these four sessions that we are doing, which will be used 90% of your job stuff. Rest of it can still be used, but those are not majoritarily not part of your day-to-day functioning, right? Now I'm saying toDate. So how this works, toDate, is this function basically has this syntax where you have your date column, okay, and then after that you will give a mask to it saying what kind of date I want. Let's say I want y. This is how I want this date to be. And then if you have any specific language preferences, that also can be given here. If your database uh, has a way of uh, looking at dates, then that will be given here, okay, but that you won't use it in most cases. But in this case, let's go with this and say y. picture ends before converting the entire input. What's this? Date format picture ends. 1 second. For some reason it's not working. But I will get back to you on this. I haven't made a note of this so that I can give a better example for date for you. Uh, for this case, we can just say write function and take this date column and say 4 so that we get the last 4 characters. Valid identifier. Oh, that's the right function, yeah. So Apex is a very limited tool, yeah, sometimes. Right functions there in Oracle. It's very much there, any which ways. Date functions, right function. So we need to extract year from this particular date, right? Extract. Okay, so the extract function at least works. So when you say extract a specific thing from a date, it will give you that information. So in this case, I'm saying extract year from date of the date column which I'm using. So it's giving me all the different rows which has data in it. So I want to just say distinct of this. And then this should give me what is the year. Okay. Can also do distinct spelling. Can also do month from this. So it gives you all the months of those states where it has, or else you can do day also. Okay. What are the dates that you have? It's not ordered, but you can order that using your order by here. Okay. That's your date calculations. You can do greater than or equal to, you can do number parameters also. Like let's say I want to do greater than or equal to 2014 only. And I don't want anything else apart from this. So if I run this and if I say year here, this should give me only 2014, 15, 16, right? Doesn't have 2013 here. And I'm using greater than or equal to. So the numerical parameters of where condition can also be applied to your date filters also. Okay. Now another important thing is, let's say I want to get only top 5 companies which have complaint. I mean, in terms of number of complaints, only the top 5 companies. Okay. So how do you do that? Like let's go to the earlier query which we were doing. So we have a count of complaints here. So if we run this, let's say we remove the state column here. We don't need. So if you are not selecting something, don't use that in your group by or state. This one also, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so this if we run, this will give me all the companies in a descending order. All of them will be coming in my data. But if I say limit top first 5 rows only, first 5 rows only, this will stop the query to give me only first 5 records. Let me, okay, fetch first 5 records only. So this will give you only the first 5 records. Again, you need to be ordering it in descending order, only then you will get your first top 5 companies. If you do a ascending here, this will give you the bottom 5 of them. Okay. So these are not necessarily bottom 5 because all of them are ones at the bottom. So this may not give the right picture, but yeah, it's just giving whatever was there at the top, bottom 5. Now, so this is about your fetch, which will be used. And apart from like where we had used multiple conditions. So if we have upper system and let's say we also do bank. So a company which contains system in it and bank also in it. That kind of a condition. Okay. Where am I using it? Okay, let me take this off and use it there. Where this one I will replace it. Then I'll run this. So if I do this, it says no data because the same company which contains systems doesn't have bank also in it. So that's why it's saying 0. So if I say or here, that means either systems or bank. So one of the conditions, if it's true, it will give me the result. So in this case, it's giving me anything which contains either systems or bank in it. I mean, it's doing a ascending and bottom 5. That's what it's doing. Okay, so so there are some of the things that you can do it. So another useful function about case statements which we were doing is, so we have used it to group certain company names, right? You can also use it. Let's say we'll begin another one. Select select upper, or let's say company itself. That's fine. Company case when count of complaint ID is greater than 10, then I'll say less or no, more case. Let's say 100 or something. And I'll say more complaints, something like that. Complaints. And then we'll say when is less than or equal to this, then we'll say less complaints. You don't need to give else. You can just leave it as it is. The else is an optional thing. And let's say category. Category from something I did here, is it? Okay. Okay. So it doesn't work because it has group, I mean aggregate function used here. So it'll say ask me to group it. So then this and this. Okay. Case when and then this and category. Okay, here I don't need to give it. The group by function is not there. So I'll say group by company, let's say, if it works. So this has more complaints, this has less complaints, more complaints, less complaints, more complaints, less complaints. So if you want to do, as I said, you can find the number of companies having more complaints, less complaints, all of the stuff. Okay. So that's one. So till here we are good. Now what else is there? So I have covered case statements, I've covered time stuff. I have selected where conditions, different where conditions, subqueries, parent queries, group bys, order bys, and or not, where incorporators, betweens. Yeah. So let's see what else we can cover in this. And then we will move to the before moving into the next one, I want to make sure that you guys practice today, and then tomorrow we will do um, some very advanced type of querying, which is pivoting in your query, or in terms of what to say, um, rolling up, and then you have analytical functions where, like, doing a comparison between the previous row and the current row, the first row and the current row, and then casting your like, as I haven't told you, right? So casting a specific column into a different thing. Let's say you have loaded your data in as a text column. Like, the entire column contains numbers, but you have loaded it as text column. How to convert that on the fly to a so number column or something like that. So these kind of things we will cover, but first go through what we have done today. And would anyone want to show if they have tried it out, or you guys are not trying it out? No? If anyone is interested, or any have any doubts, please raise your hand so that we can go through the queries. Okay. Couple of more aspects which we wanted to cover today is, which are simple enough, is like in Excel. Let's take the whole table and see what and all we have. Select star from. So sometimes it becomes a necessity to, what to say, to merge two particular columns, right? So how do you concatenate them is using double pipes. Now, let's say I want to concatenate state name and zip code, right? State name and zip code. This will give me the merger of those two columns. Okay. So this becomes helpful when you're doing joins. Let's start with joins also. So that's your concatenation, right? Now, what else we have in my plate, which I haven't covered today? Yeah. So pretty much this is all about it. Now, if we the predominant reason why SQL is very powerful is because of joins, right? Now, when I say joins, there are various types of joins. Joining is nothing but joining two different tables into one, or let's say merging two different tables into one, right? Now, what is important here is, let's me open a whiteboard. Where is it? Whiteboard. Huh. So, not let's say you have a left table and a right table, like I told you in Tableau. If you guys had attended Tableau session, this is a left table always. This is your right table. Okay. Now, when we do a left join, first understand what is a left join, then we'll do a simple query on that. Okay. Left join, that means data from this table will become the base. Okay. And only matching records from this table will become into will be added as data into this table. That's how it works. Now, if I have to give an example in Excel, so let's say your left side table was name, class, or say org. We say sorry, A, B, and uh, so we have three names: A, B, C. Org is X, Y, Z. Okay. Now on the right hand side table, you have name, and then you have, let's say, emp ID, something like that. Here you have only C, D, E. Here employee ID is 1, 2, 3. When we join this table with this table, the resultant table will look like this: name, org, all the values of your left side table will come in, okay, but only the resulting values of the, matching values of the right side table will come. Let's say if I added employee ID also in my select, here it will be null, here it will be null, here it will get as 1. This is your left join. When we do a right join, it looks like this: all the values of your right table will be there and only matching values. Now in this case, you see as a Z org. The rest of the two will be blank. So this is your left join and right join. Okay. Now when we do a inner join, what happens with the inner join is this is left join, this is right join. Inner join makes it very small table. It only keeps this much amount of data. So rest of them don't even feature because the only one which is matching in both tables is C. Okay. Outer join or full outer join, how it works is outer join, it will give you this. One moment. Huh. Your full join or full outer join will give you right. Okay. This whole table here. Okay. Rather I have to take with the names. This. Sorry. Here. And then we have employee ID. You will get 1, 2, 3. Then we also have what? D and E, which will be null here, right? But they'll have values here. No, this is 0, sorry. Yeah, it will be 1, 2, 3. So this will be your outer join, okay, wherein values of both tables come into picture. But when you do a union, okay, a union, these are all joins which we spoke about just now, right? Left join, right join, inner join, outer join, full outer join, everything is same. Okay. A union is nothing but you have a table, let's say name, let's say the same, this table you have here, right? You have a similar table again here. In this, you have something like X, Y, Z, and you have P, U, V, something like this. If you want to do a union of this, in first place, union only works when the headers are same between two tables. Essentially, what union does is just takes this table, puts it here, and then copies the data from this table and puts it below that under the same column header. That's all. This is the union. Okay. So when you have two different select query results and want to merge the results of these two tables into one with the same set of columns, then you can use union. Okay. So this is union. I hope you guys don't have any doubts in left join, right join, inner join, and outer join till now. If you have any, please unmute yourself and let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep going at my own pace until you say it's too fast. Okay. You need to let me know, otherwise I will not know whether I'm going in the correct pace or not. Okay. So this is about joins and how do we use joins in our statements, right? So if we go to our table, now let's say, let's create a table, okay, for our purpose. Let's say I just copy paste this in the chat window so that if anyone wants to practice. Here, does it paste? Oh, it doesn't paste that much characters, is it? Oh no. Does it paste in this one? WhatsApp chat? Wait 1 second. Here it is. So I have pasted it in the WhatsApp chat just in case if you guys anyone wants to copy paste it and do some modifications to it. Okay, can pick it up from there. Now coming back to the query window. So let's go from blank. Now right now we have a single table. Select star from on, right. This is my full table. Let's create two small tables out of this table. Okay, so that we can practice some joins, couple of joins today, or rather all the joins, so that you can practice it. Today, tomorrow, rest of the tomorrow, we will do this joins and the some advanced stuff which I mentioned earlier, analytical functions, roll ups, pivot functions, and all this stuff. Okay. Now, for the example, let's use our earlier knowledge to create secondary tables, or let's say tables which are a subset of this, right? Now, how do we do? Which is good portion? Let's say we take let's say we do a table with distinct subproduct and state. Okay, so create table as select distinct subproduct and state name. Yeah, someone has any doubt?
I think the screen is cut off.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. So this is the whole table. What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to do create table as select distinct subproduct and state name. So this is my subproduct column, which has like kind of some names in it, and then I have my state here, right? So if I create this table and make sure in the two tables that you join, there is a primary key column, right? That's important. Um, let's take complaint ID also in this mix here. Complaint ID. Okay, so my table contains three columns: complaint ID, subproduct, and state name. Okay. What happened? Oh, table name I need to give. Sorry. Test table one. Test table one. Test one. So I have my test one table. Now, if I do a select star of that, I have three columns in it: complaint ID, subproduct, and state name. This is my one table. Another table I will create, which will be state table, select company, complaint ID, and company. Okay. Or let's say test two here. One moment. Someone was pinging me. Okay. Okay. So I have to create this table. I have selected only complaint ID and company. Oh wait, test two already exists. Okay. Drop test two. Then I don't need that. Whatever it is. Oh, drop table. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So this create test two created. So I have another table which says test two, which contains complaints and company names. Now, when you look at this table, we don't have which company this complaint belongs to, and we have another table which contains company's name. So if we have to merge these two tables, okay, you don't have any requirement of selecting specific columns, then you can do firstly select star. Okay, here it doesn't work, simply star. I'm naming this first table as table A. Okay, test one as A. So I need to do A dot star. Okay, or if you are wanting to select only a dot complaint id, you can do that also, but I am saying a dot star means everything from that table. Okay, and then a dot star. Okay, left join test2, which I am saying b. Then I have to select b also, right? All the columns from b dot star. So I am selecting all the columns from a and all the columns from b. Okay, or let's say from b we don't need everything, we just need company name from that. Okay, let's see if this works, otherwise we have to select individual columns. Left join this on is important. When you are doing a left join, first you need to select from which table you are selecting. This is the firm will be the first table, left table. Left join this is the right table. You need to name them a and b. On a dot, what is my unique column in both tables? Complaint id. A dot complaint id is equal to b dot complaint id. This is my condition. Let's see if this works first. Okay, so it worked. What it's doing, based on the complaint id, it is matching in the second table what is the relevant company name, and it is getting me the mix of both tables in one table, right? Now you can also do a right join here. Automatically what will happen if you do right join is, this will be my left table, this will become my right table. Now if I do run the same query, you might not see the results in live here, but when you take out the data you will know. They, if this, since in this example we have all the same set of complaint IDs in both tables, the result might not be much different. But as I explained in Excel, if there are missing complaint IDs on the test1 table, those will not feature if you do it a right join. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's your left join, right join. Then fuller join also, again this is not a right example. Okay, so let's try a very simple, let's drop these two test tables. Okay, drop test1. Oh, sorry, that's test1, then test2 also. We'll create a very small subset of these tables. Okay, now let's say I do select star from con. I'll pick couple of IDs and then we'll go from there. So we'll say 46882. Okay, one of them, and then we'll have 46889 as in one table. Another table I'll say the same, 46882, and I'll say 468879. Okay, 468879. So let's work with these four of them. One of them is common. Okay, keeping that in mind. I'll say select distinct component where I'm creating tables based on those. Okay, where my complaint ID in, if it's a number column, you don't need to put single quotes. If it's a text column, you need to put, but I don't know whether it's a number or text column. Either ways, let's go with the quotes. Let's see this, and the second one is this. So let's say this test1. Okay, if I create this table, it created, so it has only two IDs in it. The second table I'm going to create is the same 8882, but the another complaint ID I will do is this one. Oh, sorry, not this. This one I have to replace. This I'll say test2. Oh God, it's raining. Okay, so now what I have done is I have created the second table. Now let's run these two tables. Let's see what all are there. This contains 879 The other table contains 889. Okay, so this is how it works. Now if I run this one, let's say let's do first left join. So I have 888 to 889. So for 889, oh, why is this doing? Oh, I did only company name. Okay, 1 second, sorry. Sub product. Okay, let's complaint ID and sub product is good enough. And I'll do, what's that? So I have to drop test table 1 and create it again and run this again. So if you see, I have complaint ID and I don't have 889 in the second table, if you observed. That's why it's giving me blank here for company. Okay. Now if I do a right join here, now if you see, I have my company names, but I don't have my complaint ID itself because it's not matching and these two data is not there in that. You're able to relate to what we spoke. Now if we do outer join or full join, I think it's full join here. Okay. Now if you see, can you see all the records are coming, but keeping left side table as the primary here. Okay. Why is it not giving the between one? Let's say test 2. Let's say let's just 1 or a dot company name. Okay, so it's not giving it because of let's say which is this table. It's giving me complaint ID from B. So test 1. What is in my test 1? That's fine. What is in my test 2? Okay, so only the matching ones it is giving it, and the one which is not matching, it's not even giving the ID for it because that ID is not matched at all because I don't have that ID here. That's why it's not giving. Anyways, so that's your full join, left join, right join, full join. If you are able to follow that one piece, okay. So we are at 9:45 right now. So I will leave it to you guys to ask any questions if you have for next 5-10 minutes, and then we'll close the session today. We have covered select statements, how do we query for data, how do we filter for it, what are the different types of filter, some basic functions, some aggregate functions, some group bys, order bys, how do we use that, ascending, descending, then what are the joins, how do we join, how to create table, how to check whether your query is correct or wrong, how to concatenate. um, then what else we have covered? So these are some of the things that we have covered for till now. Some of the things which are a little more interesting and might help, not now at least, but when you're in job, we'll cover it tomorrow. But if you have any questions, this is the time. Please go ahead and ask me so that I can answer them. If or else if I don't have an answer, I'll come back to you with an answer tomorrow. Please let me know.
So just one thing for the ones where we are writing select statements, can we write it without the brackets? Sir? For example, this one where you mentioned create table test one, can we just write create table test one and select distinct values?
Yeah, you can do that. But what happens is, see, this is still a simple place. Okay, it'll okay. It's already used. You can do this. Okay, but why I insist on using brackets is it makes your query look organized. Otherwise, it looks like a simple English sentence here. For a very advanced SQL developer, it might be very easy to understand this. But for someone who is little new in the query world and everything, it doesn't strike your mind so quickly. You will think, okay, create table is there, I'm doing select distinct, everything in one statement, what's happening here? For the language, it's no differentiator. For us, visually, to make it easier to understand, we use brackets. So brackets are for us to make it more clearer, like make a distinction. Or rather, if you want to use without brackets, you can also make a differentiation, like entering it in a separate line. That also helps you in terms of uh, understanding the structure of a query. So if you see, many statements will be a bunch of sentences written without any spaces or anything in a paragraph style. No one will be able to debug that. Today you will have only one or two lines, it's easier to debug. But when you write a 50-60 line SQL query with lots of where conditions, multiple nested selects and everything, at that point you will not be able to debug where the query has errored out. The query in some tools, it will give you exact line where it is not right, but some tools will just give you throw error like this, it's not right in some certain places, please check your query. So that's why organizing, or I would say beautifying your way of writing query is very important for you to go back to it and see where you have to correct it. That's the only reason. That's all.
Okay.
Anyone else has any other questions? Let me stop sharing. So Megha, Purna, Jeevan, any of you guys, are you following what I told, or was it very confusing? Was it too fast? Please let me know.
No, it was not confusing. Sure. We are able to follow.
Okay, fine. Sometimes I might have jumped here and there, but uh, I mean,
That's okay.
okay. So Ravi, you are able to follow. You are with me during whole session, or was there something which you were not able to follow? You want me to explain again, something like that?
Yeah, I can follow, Kishore. No problem. It is a good session.
Okay, good. Okay, so anytime you guys feel I'm going a little fast, if I have to dig deeper into any specific thing, let me know. I mean, these are all still, I would say, basics of SQL. But if you know these, the rest of it is easier. I mean, uh, easier to comprehend for you. That's the reason, nothing else. I'm assuming all of you haven't seen SQL till now, and I'm going with that assumption that, and pacing my session, right? I'm not assuming that you guys know everything and then starting with it. So some of you might feel these are all known to you guys, but still there is a wider class who may not be all of them may not be on the same level of understanding. That's the reason, nothing else. Pratibha, you are able to follow, and any questions from your side? Okay. Prajwal, you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
I need to practice.
Yeah, I assume you're still studying. If that is the case, then you would require a lot of practicing now itself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming rest of you all are good with it. And anyone who is not able to install XC, please use apex.oracle.com. That's the reason I carried out my entire session on that platform. And all the commands and statements which we ran today are hold true even in the SQL developer tool as well. Okay, there's no change in that. So feel free to practice in any of these tools, and ensure that you come back with any questions or anything tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for attending today's session. We will meet again tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye for today.
Okay.
Thank you, teacher.